Hello, and welcome back to Zero Strategy Podcast, episode, um, episode,
We rehearsed this,
episode
every fucking
35,
week.
episode 35. I remembered. Definitely didn't just look up and check. Thank you very much for being here, guys. I'm joined today by my co-hosts, Cyber Project.
Hello.
We have just Grog,
Hello.
and I think that's it. Really.
Yeah.
We also have Sir
I don't
Humps.
know what's going up with these two.
I feel like they were planning something. So, yeah, we have Sir Humps, and we
Hello.
have the Mighty Kibbles.
Hello.
So as always, guys, we've a lot to talk about, but we'll catch up with we'll start off with a quick catch up. If you have any questions for us or things you want to bring up to us, please feel free to put it in the chat, and we will try and get to it. Cyber, what have you been up to since last time?
I got a tattoo. It hurt like
Tattoo.
that. No, it didn't actually. The only thing that's really stressing me out right now, if you guys had a tattoo recently.
No, not for a while.
They
So
wrap
this,
it now.
yeah, it's called second skin, and it's basically
you never
like
had a tattoo wrapped.
No,
not like this.
Not like this.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
So I don't know if you can see that, but it's got like they call it second skin, and it's like a waterproof membrane that like
Who did they steal the skin from?
don't ask questions you don't
Aquaman.
know the answer to.
You donate your body to science. This is what happens. You just become tattoo skin.
And it's like, I don't know, it's like, you know when you get like a cut on your hand and it constantly bothers you? It's like this. I keep touching it and it's like, so I'm gonna say something disgusting, and I apologize for everybody in chat, but everybody that's had a tattoo know it weeps. Like
Yeah.
your skin basically pushes out either white blood cells or some of the pigment, and like it's all squishy underneath. Like I love it though. It's the death mark from Harry Potter.
Nice.
The artist is super amazing. She done Mary's tattoo as well. Took 2.5 hours, including shaving my arm and all that shit.
You didn't
Wow,
shave
that's
your arm
fast.
beforehand?
I did, but they always do it.
Yeah. Did you do it deliberately to match your headset?
Yes.
Awesome.
Apart from that, I've been working on a video for YouTube that I am actually gonna post this time. I'm not gonna get super self-conscious about it. It is gonna be it's like a Twitch Essentials. I noticed a gap in the market where people keep repeating the same things over and over again, whether it be like, this is what you should set your bitrate to, this is how you add a scene and all that kind of stuff. But I feel there's a lot more to it. Either people don't really want to tell the secrets, or people just haven't done it yet. So I found like a huge market. There's 5 or 6 really good points that I think could like benefit a lot of people. One of them being different audio tracks for your OBS, Condi.
Don't come at me. All right. I'm quite happy with my scuffed OBS setup. All right.
And I got some nice Condi Fly merch
Hey,
and a ferret.
Grog, how's your week been? What have you been up to?
It's pretty cool. Although I don't have it on right now. I was very excited to receive my Condi Fly hoodie. Mine did not come with the ferret, thank you. So I'll be expecting. either
I'll
got
make
lost
some
in the
calls.
mail-
That's
I
weird.
can mail
yeah.
this one if you want.
I think mine might have got lost in the
My
mail.
favorite I
all
can't
right.
show on Twitch.
Oh,
Is that your
God.
tallywhacker?
So,
It's funny how you said that. I used to call it that when I was a kid.
I know you told me this story.
Oh, yeah.
not the first time you've talked about your dick to us. So things have been all right this week. Cold War came out. I had fun with it. I'm looking forward to playing the campaign this coming week. Hot take: it's not as good as Modern Warfare. The zombies, I think, can be worth it. It's really fucking fun just to chill with friends, and it's completely on a different level other than like just say Warzone or regular COD. So zombies is a fucking hoot. Multiplayer just feels kind of flat. I feel like they kind of like just half-ass the animations, and really, if anything, it just kind of feels flat. I think because of that. But overall, I'm still having fun with the game. I'm looking forward to doing the campaign. I've heard the campaign is one of the best Call of Duty campaigns in a very long time, so that should be cool. Other than that, yeah, I'm doing all right.
Cool. Humps, what have you been up to?
Playing video games, man. Been playing a lot of Destiny 2 with my boy Condify with 2 Ys. It's been good. You know, Destiny 2 changes, you know, it's still new. We're still figuring it out. We're still playing some shit, but overall hand cannon changes. I'm really digging the hand cannon changes. I think so. I read a tweet. I think it was Gigs that tweeted out. He said, and a couple other people, but they basically said, you know, PvP, if it wasn't for stasis, PvP would probably be in the best state it's ever been with the changes that the AR changes. They nerfed them just a bit. They put them in between pre-buff and post-buff, so it's like right in the middle, good spot. Hand cannons with 140s, they still feel great, all of them. I mean, stasis is just something we gotta figure out, whatnot, but
It's insane.
it's
Yeah.
super trolly. It can be fun at times, and then also at times very, 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 very frustrating.
I haven't like witnessed a super that's really fun in PvE, but like really detrimental of the game in PvP.
Well,
It just
Hunter
seems to be
super
like
blows, period. That's kind of how it always is.
There's just been
Sad
so
thing.
many times where it's just like, you were in that match where there was a 1v1 and
Yeah.
literally we both just froze each other. And it just came down to who got unfrozen first would win the fight.
Yeah.
It's really dumb, but yeah.
And then let's see. This morning, fun little side story. So I was sleeping in my bed, and I was, I guess, coming to a little bit. So I was like half awake, half asleep. I
You're
don't
coming to what?
remember the dream. I don't know the reason why this was my reaction, but I decided to do that. Which, if you can't see, I threw a very, very good elbow, directly into my wife's face.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like, I mean,
casual
fucking hard.
unconscious.
Like no shit. Like
domestic
I
abuse. Like,
immediately
I
woke
get it.
up and I was just like, oh shit, and she was like dead asleep, and she was just like, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. But I'm talking like I like turned over and just like threw a bow. Like it wasn't like,
Like-
my arm
like
just kinda moved.
MMA
Like, I
elbow.
purposely went to throw a bow into someone's face.
Don't say you did
It's
it
just
purposely.
I was asleep and it was her face. She,
I'm gonna
You know-
I'm gonna clip this out and show it to Rachel because I did the same thing last week and she has still not stopped giving me shit.
I've done this
Ye-
before.
Apparently,
You know, if this
she like
happens-
hit me and she was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I got up and I was like, "What?" And, like threw a little bitch fit and went back to sleep. So you don't remember any of that? No.
I felt.
You know
I
what's
felt
gonna
very bad.
happen if this happens one more time? You're gonna be sleeping at opposite ends of the bed like fucking Willy Wonka.
Well, then he can just kick her.
Yeah.
That might
Like
be
off the
worse.
top rope.
Moving
just
swiftly on.
comes out of nowhere.
Kibbles, how's your week been?
It's been pretty good. Started Song of Horror. Was that last?
That was this week.
That was this.
This
week?
past. That was
So
this
much
past
fun.
week.
It's
Yeah.
so much fun. Oh my god! And I've been playing a lot more Hat in Time, and I can't get over how fucking adorable that game is. So
I watched your YouTube playthrough, and you were having a lot of fun. It actually
So
made me
good.
want to keep watching it because you were having a lot of fun. I had no idea what was going on.
it was usually when I stream, I record everything in like 1080 so I can upload it on a second channel and all that. And I was gonna clip this one out for the videos. I forgot to hit record, so I'm gonna just there's gonna be a gap because I'm not doing it in 720.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, week's been good.
Nice.
We got a bunch of crap from my dad, like 2 whole boxes of VHSs that they recorded old TV and movies on. So I'm excited to go through those.
Should be fun. Yeah, I mean, my week's been kind of the same as Hump's. Honestly, it's just been tons of Destiny.
How was Trials?
Okay, stop. Like, it's not funny. It's not funny. I changed
I
my
asked that
plan.
question by accident.
Yeah, I
yesterday.
thought Grog was sassing me yesterday in stream when he goes, "How's Trials?" And I was like, "Very funny, Grog."
I was real out of it. I honestly meant it when I said it, and then I was like, "Oh, whoops."
Yeah. So, yeah, again, obviously, Destiny dropped a big new expansion. I was grinding for it. I was trying to make sure I was the right light level to play Trials of Osiris, which is a weekend event. And then they cancelled it. And I changed, like, I mean, I really was like a complete gremlin playing Destiny 2 just for like ridiculous hours. And I've been having a blast. And, you know, I understand there was problems with the game. They had to postpone trials. It's fine. But, yeah, I've been really, really
Did you say
enjoying
what
it.
it was?
There was an infinite super glitch for the Warlocks. So people would obviously be abusing that. There's a lot of bugs with it. Like, Humps and I discovered fairly early on that the Wither Horde, which is the grenade launcher that leaves a little pool on the ground, that's supposed to damage you if you stand in it, but it was broken to the fact where if you even touched it for a second, it just killed you for full health instantly. So there were several times where I would spawn and there's no enemies around, but I accidentally walk through a tiny bit of the pool and just die. Straight up die. So they disabled that. They've been quite good at fixing things and kind of dealing with stuff quickly, but yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying Destiny again, which is, I was burnt out on it for a long, long time. I'm really liking it now, but there is still that voice in my head saying, like, am I still going to be enjoying it in a month once I've kind of done everything? So we'll see where that goes. Because right now, the PvP is not that much fun with all the new classes. So once the raid and stuff is kind of done, we'll just have to see, but I've been enjoying it. And I also tried out Godfall this morning, which is, it's an interesting one. Very
It's a
interesting.
beautiful game.
It is. It's got its problems. There was a couple crashes. There was a couple weird glitches where I had to restart because I couldn't get into a group. Where I would get disconnected from the rest of my party quite often. Overall, very fun. It's pretty linear right now. So I'm kind of not too sure where it's going to go out towards endgame. But the combat's really fun. The game looks beautiful. And it's, yeah, it just feels really good. So yeah, we'll have to see. It's a weird one to stream because you have to have it in full screen mode. Or else if you try and put it in windowed full screen, it drops the resolution to 720p. It's very strange, but cool game. So we're going to kind of just see how that goes and yeah, see if I end up wanting to stick with it or not. So yeah, we got a lot of topics to talk about with Twitch stuff today. So we should jump into it. So the first one
Y'all are in for it. You're in for it. You ready for this?
Oh,
DMCA.
We're definitely not talking about DMCA. Not
Not-
today.
not
Nope.
yet.
You're going to the wrong podcast if you want
Not
to talk about
yet.
DMCA.
not yet. We'll get there. So the first topic we have is the Twitch category buttons, which I didn't know about until about 10 minutes ago. So, Grog, do you want to kind of explain what that is? Because you're the one that told me.
Yeah,
I don't even
there's
know
the-
about this.
so there's a carousel at the top of Twitch, which has always been there, and then beneath that there's always sort of not a carousel, but simply like a lower horizontal row of recommendations based on channels that things you might like, based on channels that you've already watched, and then comparing your views and your pool of channels, and then overlap and basically making a Venn diagram with you and other viewers and seeing how you might line up. That's all the same. Beneath that, though, now there's a new section for like categories. So there's games, IRL, music, esports. Effectively, rather than having to know exactly which directory you want to jump into, or if you're new to Twitch and you don't have a track record like of viewing habits, people who are just landing on the platform can now like click on these categories so that they can jump straight into a section and then look at directories specifically to that category. I don't think it's going to be like anything revelatory for people who are already used to the platform, because chances are you've already got the channels you follow. Usually you're probably going to fire that up either on the app or on the desktop, and you're going to look on the left hand side and say, oh, so and so's live, that's my favorite streamer, I'm going to click them. But I think this will be helpful for people who are just engaged in the platform for the first time and may not realize that Twitch is more than just gaming, which in that sense I kind of appreciate, because it is focusing on competitive gaming, like under the esports category. There is music and IRL, which would encompass things like cooking, just talking or just chatting, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
dude just talking like, hello.
I agree. I don't think it's anything completely game changing, but it's kind of cool, I suppose,
just
if you just don't know
nice
what you're in the
little
mood
feature.
for. Yeah, absolutely. So that's already rolled out. That's already live on the site.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's live.
So the next one was Twitch has added, well, they say they added the feature, but I believe it's been on there for a while, but social accounts. So if you're a creator, you're a streamer, you can now add your social accounts to your channel, which they say will help with discovery on Twitch. Anyone want to explain it better than me?
Sorry, my wife's under my desk and she's kind of distracted.
My wife. What?
I can touch on that real quick. Basically, if you go to your
Wait, what?
oh, she actually okay.
Yeah,
For
she's
those
under the
listeners at
desk
home,
with
she
cybersecurity.
quite literally was under the desk with the ferret.
Those are usually my private videos. Welcome to my TikTok for you page.
Basically, it's nothing overly wild. Basically, Twitch added a feature where if you go into your dashboard, then preferences, and then channel, you can scroll down to social links. I think that this announcement came after it was already been rolled out. They just hadn't made an announcement, so some people might not have known it was there. So as Connie pointed out, when I went to check it out, I saw the announcement, but then I realized, like, wait, I've already been using these. Effectively, if you do have different usernames or different handles across different platforms, and it might otherwise be hard to find you, you can like add in, rather than, these aren't the info panels underneath your page. So if somebody were to go to say like, twitch.tv, / the mighty kibbles, and go down on desktop and actually see like the info panels, this is not that where you would just type anything you want. This is something that would actually be embedded just underneath your actual channel video, like your welcome trailer.
Yeah.
And it has like a little icon, for anything that's relevant. So like Twitter, YouTube, etc. And effectively, like YouTube has usually your link for your channel will be like youtube.com/channel/ and then a whole string of letters. This simplifies that. So it's just, it's a little hyperlink tool. I think they just made it publicly announced it, but I think it had been available to affiliates for a while.
I feel like it got added on when they added channel trailers. That's when I noticed it anyway.
Yes.
When I made my channel trailers, when I added in those links.
I remember the downfall of Mixer. That's when I noticed it. So whenever that was, what was that, July?
Yeah, that was July.
Is it really that long ago?
Yeah.
Dude, this year's going fast.
Fuck 2020.
Fuck 2020.
They all go fast once you get to our age. You know what I mean?
As neurons die in your brain, you start.
Yeah, the social links thing, I always thought, I mean, the searchability point of view is interesting. Like you say, if you do have a different username on a different profile and somebody finds your Twitter and they want to find your Twitch, I mean, there's obviously easier ways of doing it. But if you're on Twitch and you think, oh, there's this channel I like on YouTube, I wonder if they're on Twitch, and they've got a slightly different name, it makes it a bit more searchable, which is interesting. I always kind of thought the social links was better for, you click on a channel that's not live, there's the channel trailer, and then right next to it, it's got a little button for YouTube, a little button for Twitter, and it just takes you straight there, which I feel is more of a useful feature. But again, I obviously a lot of us have got the same handles everywhere for the most part, so it's, it doesn't necessarily affect us as much.
As a quick aside, which of us haven't done the channel trailers yet that we were talking about doing months ago?
I've done mine.
I have.
I haven't done mine yet.
I have not.
Yeah.
Need to get on that.
You guys haven't been bullying properly. I specifically remember when we talked about it, someone was like, "Oh, well, we'll bully you guys to make sure you do it." That never happened.
Grog and I had
Well,
a
This
deal
is
that
your fault
we were gonna
exclusively.
hold each other accountable, but then I got mine done and then just stopped thinking about it.
So Grog did his half.
Well, I thought it was more like a suicide pact
Wow.
situation. So if I didn't do it, then that keeps us both alive. So I'm actually doing that for our safety.
Well, thank
Oh,
you,
no,
Grog.
that's fine.
That makes a lot of sense. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So the next topic, because I just want to kind of blast through these because the last couple are going to be longer discussions. Twitch is now adding channel point predictions. So a while back, Twitch added channel points, which is a thing that you get when you reach affiliate on Twitch. People earn points by watching your stream and they can spend them to redeem certain things. Some things are kind of built into Twitch, like unlocking emotes, and then streamers have some control to add additional things. And then they've kind of built on it, which was always my hope that they would add more and more to this. They've added a community goal, which we've seen for a little while, where you can set, X amount of channel points, and your community can donate to that with a goal at the end. But they're now adding these predictions, which someone can maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like a sort of a way to sort of gamble your points and earn more and try and predict the outcome of a certain thing happening. Is that about right?
Yeah, effectively, you can now. Just to be clear, this has not been rolled out to everyone yet. It's a soft launch because they're still testing, like, sort of the nuts and
The
bolts
code
to
of
make
it.
sure that it isn't broken. But they said that they selected a 50% sample of all Twitch partner and affiliates, and just gave people, just based on RNG. Some people got access, some people didn't. So half of us in this call should have a chance of having it.
I'm checking right now.
But basically, what it boils down to is you can do a slash command, so you can do slash prediction in chat, or in your stream manager. There's like a manage predictions quick action feature, and essentially it would be down to, like, will I die before the end of this level? Yes, like yes or no. You have to provide like possible outcomes. So you would do like a positive or a negative, or really anything. You have a binary outcome, and then people can wager points. And then, depending on how many points they wager, they just get that many back in return if the thing happens. And obviously, they lose them if it doesn't happen. So it's kind of like how Stream Elements and other like third-party resources have these like pseudo point things that they like can build into your channel, where like you can redeem them for like secondary functions that aren't actually built under the Twitch platform. This is going to be a way for people to actually keep using the channel currency, which is just your channel points. And yeah, it can be anything you want. Like, will I win the next 5 games in a row? Yes or no? Or like, will I get jump scared before the end of the level? Like that kind of thing. And apparently right now, creators and mods have the ability to do it. Predictions can't be created by any individual in chat. It'd be interesting, I think, in the future if you allowed it to be accessible for VIPs, or if you had like tiers of people, like maybe subs past a certain point.
Yeah.
Or maybe like do subs only. But I think it's actually pretty rad. I mean, it's another means of engagement, and it can be like as creative as you want it to be. It doesn't have to be like channel point redemptions can be hard to think of because it's a thing you're expected to like do all the time. I mean, I know Condi fires up a stream and dreams dreads how many dabs he's gonna do.
It's better now
so
that I've added the cooldown.
His shoulders are gonna give out.
Yeah.
but now this is like another thing that you can do, so that if you have larger goals, say, where let's say you have something that costs a ton of points, you can now start having these little intermediary challenges where people set up predictions, either you or your mods, and then people can earn boatloads of points and maybe get to those like bigger point challenges sooner, or lose all their points. I think people just like the gambling aspect.
Yeah,
the thrill of the hunt.
Yeah.
I just had a look. I don't seem to have it. I don't know where it
No.
would show up, but it doesn't appear to be available for me
I don't
yet.
have it.
So by that measure, then Grog and Humps should both have it.
do.
You do.
I do.
I want to test that out next time you're on. I need to
It's,
for
start a
science.
prediction. Viewers predict the result of an event by voting with channel points.
Ah.
So where is that displayed?
It's in, if you go to add your quick actions and you go to add a quick action, it should be the first 4 featured.
Oh,
Is that in the dashboard? Like the created
Yeah,
dashboard?
creator dashboard.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
not there for me. Nice. Well, yeah, you need to test it and let us know how it works.
Yeah, for sure.
oh, I do have it.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Oh.
So it's just me.
It's
It's just me that
have
doesn't
What I
have it.
did is I
I
went
don't have it either.
into community, went to channel points, and looked specifically under channel points, and it didn't
Yeah.
have it there.
Yeah, I
Yeah, that's
went
what I
straight to
did.
channel points and I didn't see it there. So,
Oh, cool.
but hey, there you go.
I did say you can manage it via slash prediction and or the quick action.
Yeah.
I did
Feature
exactly
in your
what you told
dashboard.
me to look at it. You know, no big deal.
Humps, listen to me.
Who listens? Cringe.
Cool. Right, now on to the heavier topics. The our favorite, the DMCA. So
Woo!
we have a lot to go through on this one. I don't know if anyone has a particular point they wanna jump in and start with.
I've got one.
Okay.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
That's me. I'm done.
Okay. Fantastic.
Mic drop.
Well, we may as well start with
have a
the
sheet, man.
gigantic blog post that Twitch put out regarding this. So it's a very lengthy post. I'm not going to go through and read it all out. But it says a lot of the same, sort of things. I got the vibe that they were kind of taking some accountability for not having better tools, not having better preparation. The thing is, they said, and I might not be directly quoting here, but they effectively said, we were just as surprised as you guys with the amount of DMCAs that came in, which is a little scary in my opinion, because how could Twitch have been surprised? Like they even specifically said, we used to get
Even
maybe
if they were, they shouldn't have said that.
yeah, right.
I mean, take that with a pinch of salt, because if you look into it from a PR perspective, you want to say all the right things.
Yes.
So we know that DMCA has been hitting Twitch ever since roughly around about 2015, and it's only really got to this point now. So that was probably just a insert "we're with you guys" kind of sentence in a way.
Maybe, but maybe not. They said they shared a little bit of their metrics in the post, saying that until May of this year, streamers received
Like
on
50 a
average
year.
fewer than 50 music-related DMCA notifications annually on Twitch. Beginning in May, however, representatives for the major record labels started sending thousands of DMCA notifications each week, targeting creators' archives mostly for tracks and clips that had been accruing over the years. So I mean, if we accept that that's true, if it was about 50 or less per year, and 50 of those claims may or may not have resulted in temporary bans, now they're receiving thousands a week. I think what happened was there was a tipping point where look at the timeline. It happened in May. The quarantine basically started locking down in a lot of places somewhere between February and March and April, depending on where you were in the world. At that point, revenues all across the board for the global economy started shifting and tanking. And then suddenly technology that was probably dormant but had been developed. And I mean, I know that this is sounding like sort of conspiracy theorist, but I think that part of it too is that we hadn't seen this level of interaction from say the RIAA and other music entities, because one, I think that in years past the technology wasn't there to do it quickly and efficiently and to do batch scans through, I mean, we're talking millions of hours of video, because it actually has to scrub through video to find, it has to at least get the audio track and then match that the waveform of the audio against something else that's already on record.
Yeah.
So I think there was a technological hurdle. I also think that this is maybe just a secret weapon, just sort of sitting dormant, waiting for the time to use it,
For a rainy
specifically
day.
at a time when, exactly, a rainy day when either there was a financial hardship on behalf of the record industry, or there's no live shows anymore. I mean, there's drive-in shows, but live music is kind of dead right now, more or less. So I don't think it's a coincidence that this happened in the same year that the pandemic happened. And that's all I can speculate. But yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
see,
it was
so-
always coming. Sorry, Hubs, go ahead. I just wanted to, yeah.
No. You're right. No. So yeah, so coincidence, yes. But so Harris Heller, he made a video, and his take was, I didn't really like his take on it, honestly. But he was basic because he referenced that initial tweet where it says, because he's like, oh, Twitch didn't expect that. Come on, you didn't expect to have these massive DMCAs, and then with their tweet saying well, we didn't we only experience, up to 50 a year, and now we're getting thousands. And to kind of take that take where you're just like, oh, well, you were experiencing before. You can't say you didn't expect this. Well, I mean, maybe if I averaged 50 or less a year for multiple years, I don't think I would just all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, I should expect thousands now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of a weird take. But coincidence, yes. Pandemic, I don't know if I agree with that part of it. It's interesting. But because another the R was it REII, RIAA,
RIAA.
RIAA. What did happen, what was a coincidence, well, not really a coincidence, what I think actually did happen was because this came out not necessarily during the pandemic, it came out after Twitch came out with their Twitch songs playlist, stating that they had rights to this music when they didn't have rights to the music. The RIAA specifically said they did not have rights to the music they were playing on there, and they were basically trying to bypass the technology by having it not play on your VOD, basically.
Yeah.
So
They
the
were
issue,
basically trying to cheat the RIAA and how they're trying to look at it, sort of.
not
And so-
100, not it's not totally accurate. The problem was is that there's 5 different types of licensing.
Yeah.
There's like the mechanical licensing. There's the whatever. The thing is, Twitch for soundtrack just didn't employ all of the different types of licensing, so they did have the rights, but they like in insofar as they had explicit permission from and this is the RIAA wasn't involved in soundtrack because it was participating smaller music labels that were really like feeding the bulk of the content to soundtrack. I don't think that the RIAA and soundtrack overlap. The issue, I think, is that uh, there's a guy that we reference all the time, Zach Busey. One of the things that like he speculated, which I think now could very well have been the case, was that yes, they were getting claims per year. Yes, it's been happening for several years. But if you think about it, there's like 40,000 and change partners on Twitch. There's like around 800,000 some odd affiliates, non-affiliates on Twitch. In terms of getting less than 100 per year, that is like on a statistical standpoint, like
Irrelevant.
a blip.
Yeah.
It's nothing. So I think for them, yes, they knew that these things could be an issue, but they were so statistically irrelevant as to be a non-issue that they just didn't work very hard at it. His
sure.
theory, Busey's theory, was that the record companies knew that they were going to make a push into Twitch at some point, just like they did for YouTube.
Yeah.
His theory was that they were going that the record industry basically gave them an ultimatum and said, "You've been a safe harbor for X amount of years. We are now going to give you an ultimatum that by a set timeline," and maybe this was, happening pre-COVID, but that basically at a set time, we are no longer going to allow you to be a safe harbor in terms of dodging this. You need to implement tools which will then be able to allow your creators to have a means to work around it so that you basically say, hey, we're not in a position where we can stop being the safe harbor we have been because people just don't have the resources available to them. And I think the record industry said, then make the resources available. I think soundtrack was a half-baked rollout.
Make it.
I think everybody feels like soundtrack was pretty kind of a lame duck.
Yeah.
And clearly they tried to cut corners by avoiding some of the licensing options. But at the end of the day, I think they were just given a window, and basically that window has expired, and now record industry said game on. And then Twitch is now just trying to do the best they can. It's just a difficult platform to be in, and I know that every week, I feel like I'm coming off as like a Twitch apologist, like I would this is the hill that I would
100%.
die on for them.
100%.
But the thing is this, the responsibility for this stuff falls on the streamer. You choose what goes on your channel. You choose what you say. You choose what games you stream. You choose.
It doesn't matter
what,
if you think
what
it's
kind of
stupid or
clothes you
not.
wear.
We all know it's fucking stupid. We
Yeah,
all understand it's outdated bullshit that needs to be fixed. We get it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe not all people get it, but that doesn't.
No.
Because you might think a rule is stupid, doesn't mean that it's still not a rule, and doesn't mean you're not going to have consequences for breaking that rule. I mean, so
100%.
like Rock's saying, if you're choosing to play Spotify and not having any regard to the rule, then am I really going to feel super sorry that your shit's getting, like, and people get it, like, especially when you're talking people that have been streaming and are partnered for years, and they have like literally thousands and thousands and thousands of hours in VODs and stuff that they have to like go either delete, download, or whatever. I mean, it sucks, but I don't know.
I think what makes it so infuriating is that if you have the facts in front of you, you can be of the mind to say this is a completely bullshit situation and it only hurts the creating community, which it does. You don't have to agree with it, but you do have to accept that facts exist. It's just like science is real. Do you know what I mean? Like if you want to deny that the law is the problem and you want to lay the blame on Twitch, you're welcome to do that because it's your freedom of opinion. But the thing is, it's factually incorrect. And unfortunately, everyone is looking for a convenient scapegoat. And often because the platform itself is going to be thrown under the bus and the people leading that platform are going to be held accountable. In this case, the problems that we're having stem directly from antiquated laws from 22 years ago.
Yep.
The thing is, though, Twitch does have a certain amount of accountability, but I give them credit because at the end of this post, came out on November 11th. You can find it through blog.twitch.tv. Towards the very end, they say, and I quote, "Transparency going forward. We know that there were still many questions we didn't get to here. We've started to compile some that we've received from the community and have drafted an FAQ, and that FAQ is lengthy. It doesn't look like it when you first scroll through it, but there's like sections and subsections, and it keeps going on and on and on. And this also is something that was echoed in the town hall meeting yesterday, or sorry, not town hall meeting, but the keynote speech yesterday for GlitchCon, and that basically you had the head of Twitch on stream saying, we should have done better, we can do better, and we are going to try. And one of the things that we'll get to later is talking about how we're going to have this like town hall coming up in December. But I do think that they have made efforts. I think they've just been a little late to the game. Like, for example, we talked about in past podcasts how it would have been nice when we were onboarded, when we started as affiliates, to have seen something either through Creator Camp or through the digital onboarding that actually encouraged you to better understand copyright law and what the DMCA is and how it can be a threat to your channel if you don't follow it accordingly. Well, sure enough, we said that in the channel or in the podcast, and then we come back the following week to find out, yes, they actually did roll that into the onboarding. So for all new applicants through to become affiliate, that's there. And now they have things like Creator Camp. They are trying. I just think that they're people just like us, and I don't envy being in their position because I can't imagine how complex dealing with copyright law on an international level is. And we're just talking about DMCA. There are still like all sorts of other legalese related to music and broadcasting that happen in other countries that Twitch also has to deal with too. And I'm not giving anyone a free pass, but they've basically said we fucked up. We're trying to work on tools. We should have done it sooner.
And the thing is, like,
to
most
me,
people, I
that
think
I'm satisfied.
a lot of the frustration, I think, is because it's inconsistent across social media platforms. Because YouTube gets hit hard all the time. I mean, if you just put music without crediting or something, you're gonna get hit hard. Twitch is now getting hit hard, but then you have things like TikTok, where pretty much any music you want at all ever, you can just put on TikTok without any repercussions whatsoever.
It's
so people
actually,
are like, well, what?
Sorry, so it's actually almost the opposite on TikTok because,
it?
Yeah,
because
it is
TikTok
now.
is so wildly popular, artists are paying prominent TikTokers to use their songs in videos. Artists are and labels are paying the TikTokers to use that music because they know if they get a big TikToker to get millions of views, then that song is going to pop off. it's insane. It's just because it's so popular.
Well, that's just. I mean,
It's
that's
backwards.
just smart business. I mean,
It
that's
is,
what people
but
don't seem to understand. It's like, oh, people are stealing your music. No, 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 no. They are showing your music, whether it's just. I mean, TikTok's almost like more prevalent, like kind of showing the music, either coming with a dance trend to go with the song or something like that, other than just having like background music. But it's actually getting an audience to be like, hey, this song's dope. I'm gonna go listen to that song on repeat now because I really like it. And then you have millions of views on your song and it just blew up. I mean, there's a bunch of examples of songs or artists that blew up because of some sort of trend involving your song on TikTok. Small ass creator. We're not even talking like big artists. We're talking people that are basically make music for like TikTok and stuff, and just their song blows up. Blows up. But
Yeah,
anyway, what my whole point is, what people they get frustrated with, whether it's inconsistent or not across the board, and then they look at like, well, why aren't you fixing this problem? Not understanding that the DMCA is the problem. It's old, antiquated, needs to get looked at. We all cover that all the damn time. But the thing is, their solution isn't to fix the problem, it's to fix a symptom, which is like, Twitch, do better, fix it for us, when that's just cold medicine, when you need or
You're
something. You
right.
know what I mean? Like, you
It's a
need
band-aid. It's a band-aid on a
exactly, it's a
gunshot wound.
band-aid to make your sniffles go away versus you actually being cured. You know what I mean? So the problem is DMCA. That's what needs to be fixed. Having
Regrettably,
Twitch pay money or whatever to be able to quote unquote legally play this and like jump through all these legal hoops, that's not a solution. That's just a band-aid.
unfortunately, I think that you would have to see that kind of change pushed through Congress.
Oh, for
You
sure.
would need to see Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, you name it, like SoundCloud, like any entity that has a stake in music and streaming content. I mean, we're also talking Netflix and Hulu and Disney, and like you would need these powerhouses to push Congress for revision.
Not only push
Because
it, but properly identify it and properly explain it to people. Because if they just come out and saying, oh, we want to get rid of this DMCA law or change the DMCA law, you're immediately going to have people come back and they're like, they want to take the rights away from the musicians and the artists. No, that's not what the point is. And that's what really needs that's probably the struggle of really getting the proper information to people so that they're not getting confused by bullshit like that. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, because there's going to be a PR spin no matter which way you cut it.
For sure.
There's going to be someone who is going to play this like emotional angle. I think that you're 100% on the mark where somebody's going to say, well, if you're interested in dissolving the DMCA, then you're effectively saying that like you're fine robbing, creators and like influencers of the rights that they are owed for their works and the derivatives of their works. And it's like, well, no, that's not what, because we already have copyright and trademark as a separate means to manage that stuff.
yeah.
DMCA is really just the dissemination of this this material in an electronic space, and now because streaming is so prevalent and embedded in everything, you can stream on almost any kind of device now. I'm sure there's probably like a Samsung refrigerator out there that you can like fucking watch Twitch on. Like, the thing is,
It's actually what I stream from.
My Samsung fridge.
we just don't have we're at a point in history where we have set more new precedents for how we can use technology in new and exciting ways, but we have not come up with better language to quantify how that information should or should not be shared. But yeah, it's not going to happen on an individual level. You have to have major corporations form a giant lobby and push Congress to do it. And right now, look at the partisan politics in the United States. Without getting into politics, Congress is in a very fucked up way right now in terms of how anything's going to get passed through because of how divisive our partisan politics are right now. So like, good luck passing even minor legislation for something as agreed upon as as necessary as healthcare, or infrastructure for roads, much less law that's already on the books that where there's a money component. I mean, just think about how many lobbyists are in DC right now, ready to go to bat for RIAA and other members of the recording industry. I mean, they have deep pockets, and they will spend lots of money to make sure that these things don't ever see, the floor of Congress.
Yeah.
There's one thing that I do want to just answer in chat. Scott Fish was saying, outside of the US, does DMCA actually apply? The simple answer is no. DMCA is a law written and only enforceable within the US. We do, I'll speak for the UK and the EU currently. We have Article 13 and a couple of copyright laws. That's the only thing that really affects us in the grand scheme of like DMCA. But what a lot of people on Twitter don't understand is Twitch is operated and registered in the US.
Yeah.
They seem to think if they're outside of the US, they're not liable to feel the repercussions of a DMCA like strike, and it's complete bullshit. For a lack of a better term, your username is registered to a company that's in the US, and you basically have to follow the exact same laws as if you were a US citizen. If you're basically owning a small business within the US, if you're a content creator, if you've signed up to the affiliate and you're getting paid, you have to abide by those laws. You have to make sure that you sign a tax return that's basically converted from US to the EU currently. Obviously, the UK is about to leave the EU, so God knows how that's going to affect us. But the DMCA, even though it's only a US law, it does affect globally, especially if we are just talking about Twitch. No matter where you are, if you're on Twitch, you're liable for DMCA strikes. So
that'd be a cool workaround, because then everyone would just be like VPNing it. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
exactly.
no, I live in fucking Scotland too. Can't you tell?
Exactly.
Oi.
Shite, mate.
And the thing is, like, as much as I hate to admit
Shite
it,
bag if you didn't.
True. And I
Don't
have
you know
heard
do
that.
that, all right?
I have heard that, your Dassels Avon.
Getting a wee bit hungry. Gotta get some scran.
Don't you make me hungry? But the thing is, like, if people don't know what Article 13 is, I hate to admit it, but it's even worse than DMCA.
It's
Like,
awful.
you can literally, if there's
Oh, yeah, I
even a
remember all the
small
YouTube videos when that shit was coming out, like talking about Article 13.
if there's even a small percentage that could potentially be perceived as copyright, then they'll take everything, whether it be a cover of a song, a piece of artwork that you've done. Even if you if you post a meme on Twitter, they can actually take you to court for it if you don't own the rights to use that meme. So DMCA is the least of your troubles, okay?
So there's a couple of things I wanted to address that are I think important to this whole thing. The first thing is that the timeline is kind of muddy on Twitch's end, because we don't have full transparency of exactly what's happened with Twitch. Yes, obviously they said we didn't expect as many DMCAs, and whether that's a genuine, we just didn't expect it to be this many. I think we all knew that it was always going to come. Twitch was the Wild West for a long time, where you could just get away with anything, and we all knew this day was coming eventually. The other thing is that when they sent those emails out not too long ago, they kind of stated in there, we paused processing of those DMCA claims because we didn't have the necessary tools to help creators. Now, we don't know how long that window that they paused the processing was for. Maybe the minute they started getting those DMCAs in, they paused the processing, they started on Twitch Soundtrack, and they rushed it out the door as quick as they could to get it out there for creators. And now they're in this difficult spot where, they obviously didn't have enough time to prepare, and, whatever deal they reached with these companies to allow them to not process the DMCA strikes is up, and now they've got to deal with it. They're in a tough position. The other thing that's scary, though, and the reason why I understand that, so there's two sides to it. Obviously, this is not Twitch's fault. This is the law. Twitch is just following what they have to do. Then you've got, well, creators should have just, if you're taking this seriously, should have looked into this and learned and understood. Because, I mean, I didn't really know DMCA was a problem until 2 years ago when my Twitter got deleted, right? And that's when I started making sure Twitch was safe.
That was 2 years ago?
Oh, something like that. It was a while ago.
Holy shit.
It's probably not far off.
It was a while ago, right?
Jesus.
And the scary thing is, like, this is what I'm saying. It's 3 DMCA strikes and you're banned. That can be 1 stream. That could be half an hour, right? If you get 3 strikes on a VOD from 3 different songs, you're banned like that, right? It is no joke. They will just permaban you, right? So this is why you can't just say, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing until I get a strike and then maybe I'll change it once I get a strike. You could get all 3 at once very easily, right? It's no fucking joke. But then
Can they just change like how they like? I mean, so I guess I don't really know what their requirement is. So say like they issue a strike, like maybe they just make like DMCA strikes. Like, all right, you got a strike, but you get like unlimited DMCA strikes. You know what I mean? Like, could they just do
this
that?
is what I'm going to get into, right?
Okay.
So Twitch's obligation is to, I forget the exact wording, but it's to basically good faith effort that they are doing everything they can to enforce DMCA and to stop that content, right? So the
It's called
deal,
safe
whatever
harbor.
that deal is, exactly, is that 3 strikes and you're gone. That's the deal Twitch has. Now, that allows them to keep safe harbor, which means, for anyone that doesn't know what safe harbor is, it basically means if there's copyright content on your platform, you cannot be directly sued as long as you're taking those steps to get rid of it. Now, this is the other thing that Article 13 in the UK is basically removing safe harbor, right? So that's a whole other thing we'll get into. But if a company loses safe harbor, it's game over, right? Because if Twitch lose safe harbor, then all of a sudden, every DMCA claim could be a lawsuit against Twitch for potentially millions, right? Not worth their investment. They'll close it down like that, right? They lose safe harbor, Twitch closes. That's it. End of story. So if Twitch isn't doing what they need to do, and a court finds that, yeah, you're not doing your part here, they will not hesitate to just take away their safe harbor. It's happened to companies before. It could happen again, right? And it's not, you can't just say, well, it's Twitch, it's the biggest platform, it'll be fine. A court does not care. If they take away the safe harbor, it's game over, right? So that's one of the reasons why I understand that people are mad at Twitch. I'm a little mad at Twitch as well, because they're clearly struggling here. And if they lose that safe harbor, we're all done for on Twitch, right? So this is why it's such a difficult and a really quite an important thing that they need to get sorted. And yes, the problem is the DMCA law. We understand that. But YouTube got around this by having just an insanely precise content ID system, right? That everyone goes on about how YouTube is so bad. And I mean, our last podcast episode got 3 copyright strikes. My last YouTube video got a copyright strike 2 weeks after it was posted, right? I don't know how it all works, but YouTube is very, very good at this. But because their content ID system is so good, that's what keeps them in safe harbor. That's what allows them to keep operating, because not much gets through their algorithm. Twitch's content ID system is not good. That's why sometimes your VODs get muted, sometimes they don't, sometimes it doesn't pick it up. Their content ID system isn't good. And now what they're trying to do, all these other little steps they're trying to take, it's all to try and make it look like we're trying our best, we're doing our best. But quite frankly, they're in a tough spot, which also leads me to another thing. There was a clip of Summit 1G saying that he's had 3 DMCAs already, and he's still streaming. So if that's true, and Twitch is just saying, carry on, son, you're fine, that could be them potentially risking their safe harbor. So it's fucked. It's like the situation's so much worse than it seems. So it's really important, and Twitch need to do. I know it's not it's the streamers' problem. It's our responsibility as creators, but Twitch also need to be doing something. And if that needs to be a more advanced content ID system that will shut down our streams midway through if it picks something up, so be it. But they need to do something, because they're risking losing that safe harbor.
Don't give them ideas.
What's interesting too is that you have Twitch, as Connie pointed out, Twitch has its own ID system, which is why you had your VODs muted. That's why you had, clips without sound, stuff like that beforehand, because that was their best effort at the time. The thing is, the algorithms and the bots that are skimming through your old VODs and your old clips and all that stuff, that's not Twitch. The claimant that is dropping the claim on you that found the content in your video is using a separate bot. They're using separate algorithms, separate tools to go and scrub through what is a publicly accessible library of music. So the thing is, Condi's 100% right. Twitch thought they were, they had a best practice in place that would allow them to maintain safe harbor because it was good enough at the time. In a sense, it's almost like an arms race now. You figure if Twitch has a certain set of tools, if they're lacking and insufficient for what they were able to do before, because again, if it's muted before it can even be scanned, then the claim can't go through. I think that was the idea. If you have a muted VOD, it doesn't matter that like you had copywritten music on it because it simply would be like it was either buried too much into the mix to be identifiable via the sound form, or it was, you know, like it was already muted by on their end. The thing is now there's tools that are better that can even do this stuff in real time. The real time like algorithms haven't really gotten to the point where they can be used en masse, but that's coming. It's gonna happen. But it also brings us back to the fact that you have third-party tools scanning public archives of content. Now, one of the things that came up in chat and one of the things that has been bandied about online is how people are in a fuss over the fact that, well, when they learned, and by this I mean the Twitch community and Twitter by extension, learned that when your content is deleted, it is removed from the public directory, it is removed from publicly accessible archives, but is still held on CDN like the back end. They're still on servers through Twitch. So just like, for example, for YouTube has a policy where when you delete your own content, it actually isn't removed for 30 days. And like, for example, with Google, if you delete stuff off Google Drive, you can actually undo it up to a certain amount of time, because when they delete it, yes, it's gone from your directory. Yes, it looks like it's gone from your end. If you have public subscribers or if you're public facing and you delete it, it's gone for the public, but it's not actually gone. The thing is that those servers containing that information cannot be DMCA claimed, and Twitch actually like gave a very clear and explicit response as to the fact that those CDN servers are not liable for DMCA claims being filed against them. But we've been in our private chat conversation for this podcast, we've been watching and discussing how people have been continuing to, you know, bang a drum, you know, and gather pitchforks against Twitch because they're pissed off, saying, well, how could, you know, how you guys aren't doing enough, you need to do more, you need to do better because I can still have a DMCA claim levied against something that I already deleted. False. That's actually not true. It's just that is a rumor that like has perpetuated, but there have been no reported DMCA claims that have been issued to anyone, nor have Twitch received any for content that is on backend servers. So that's just a false narrative that I think people are using as a strawman argument to continue to be mad at Twitch. And it doesn't make it any easier when you have people who are partnered or people who are in positions of influence repeating these talking points as fact when they're not fact. They're just it's speculation, really, and it's frustrating because, again, if people took that extra step to find out more information about what's going on, then it wouldn't be a matter of confusion, and then you wouldn't have this sort of whisper down the lane situation where like every time somebody passes on more information about it gets like twisted and, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of that kind of you know, that kind of confusion just spreading around and around and around and around, and it is awful. As Kibbles pointed out, I had a similar experience where back months ago, 6 months ago, when the first wave of DMCA's hit, and you know, I mentioned before, it's like nobody even remembers this, but like everyone started deleting all their VODs and clips. I remember I spent a whole day doing it because I was like, well, I don't want to get a DMCA. I better just literally destroy everything, you know, flush it all and start fresh. And that took me, and this again is, you know, Twitch need to make improvements to this. I don't know if they have. I haven't deleted stuff since, but that took me all day to delete clips because every time I would select all and delete, it would take ages to go. And then afterwards, there were still clips there. I was still finding stuff. And bear in mind, I've been on the platform nearly 4 years. It's like, there's just so much there that it almost was like it just wasn't catching up. Even though I was deleting things, it was not deleting them properly because it was like the system for deleting stuff is just awful. Again, maybe it's better. I haven't had to wipe everything, you know, since then. And I know they've said that they're working on improving that constantly. But back months ago when I deleted everything, the system was terrible for deleting clips, to the point where I would sit and go through it 20 clips at a time, you know, clicking every box, delete, wait for it to catch up, then click to another 20 boxes and then delete.
I remember what I had to do is I had to go in there and click clips of my channel, delete, and then I have to like recycle it to clips I've created because then it would refresh it properly. Otherwise, it wouldn't catch more things. And it's like, I know that can't be it.
Yeah.
You fooled me 30 times in a row.
I mean, I
I
tried
just
it.
checked right now, and yeah, my last clip or my oldest clips are from 5 months ago, so I think we're still good.
Yeah.
It's check real quick. There's not something from 2 years.
It's crazy, and I hope that they have improved it. You know, I don't want to experiment by deleting the last 6 months, you know, on here, but it really was bad. It really was poor, and you know, certainly I was thinking, okay, that's it gone now, and then finding more and finding more. So I think it's entirely possible that people thought they deleted everything, and then there was still stuff there that wasn't deleted, and maybe that's, you know, it's tough. You can't really point blame and say that's the streamer's fault for not checking, because it's also Twitch's fault for not having an easier way to do this, not having a better system. Twitch never thought that this was going to have to be a thing they needed. So, you know, they need to have that deletion system clearer and work better. And they need to have a better content ID. I don't know how it works on YouTube. I would love to speak to somebody who streams a lot on YouTube to find out how their content ID affects their live stream. You know, if they get a claim, does it shut their stream off temporarily? Because on YouTube, there's so many different types of claims. That's the thing. Like, I've had claims, lots of claims on my YouTube channel, but they don't affect because they're not a strike, right? It's different. Sometimes somebody will just say, oh, that's ours, we're monetizing that video now. And sometimes they'll say, oh, that's ours, we're blocking it so nobody can watch it. I've never had a strike on YouTube, and I don't really know what the difference is. Maybe it's just down to whoever owns the copyright, the difference between striking and not striking. It seems to be the general way, particularly with more established YouTubers that are gaining a lot of views, is thank you, we'll monetize that, we'll take that money, thank you very much. Not a strike on the creator, doesn't affect their career, but it means they make no money from that video. Obviously Twitch, it's harder to do that. They couldn't just have, oh, you played a bit of our song in your 11-hour stream, so we're taking all of your ad revenue, and then it's like, okay, that's not that much. Maybe
no, don't take my ad revenue.
Yeah,
no.
maybe we'll
My
take
25 cents.
you know, how many subs did you get this stream? Yeah, we're taking that revenue. They can't really do that on Twitch, so it's a more unique.
It's not easy to quantify.
Exactly. So I would love to know. I would love to try and speak to a YouTube streamer that is experienced with this and kind of understands how that works.
So
One little thing that I want to just check in there at the end is part of the problem too is that people at the time, both past and present, have not solely been using Twitch, the Twitch interface as a means to get rid of their content. Some people have been using things like Commander Root and other third-party applications to delete content, but those applications in of themselves are not 100% reliable. It's the same reason why, if you think about it, APIs can be written very well. They can also be written very sloppy. And I'm not saying that Twitch's API is written bad or good, but I'm saying that that's why you have to because we also, as much as we talk about DMCA, we also have to talk about Destiny for some reason. That's why Bungie, with their API, allows you to move content around. Like, so you have an inventory in a game, and you can use third-party tools to move your content around and make slight modifications to your content. You cannot delete anything, because I think they are definitely afraid that they know that API driven protocols that allow for removal and deletion of content can be flawed. You can have false positives. You can say you deleted something, and then for whatever reason, because of like, you know, lag or packet loss or something, wires get crossed and the content doesn't actually go, or something else gets deleted that wasn't meant to be deleted. That's why it's kind of a touchy subject. And, you know, I bring up Destiny as an example of they don't allow third-party tools that level of interaction with their content. So Twitch does, but it's not 100% reliable. You need to be doing it through the platform directly. So like going to Commander Root and just saying delete is not, I would not hang my hat on that and say like I'm good, like I'm done. I feel confident about that. So as Twitch continues to update their official tools, we need to work with this as best we can. But I think that it has already been proven that Zach Busey, again, to bring him up, there was an individual who was partnered who said that they got claims levied against them for content that they already knew to have been deleted. And the thing is, Busey himself went and found publicly more content and ran it through like the algorithm to identify copywritten content. And that person, although they claim they deleted everything and had gotten a lot of people on their side and drummed up a lot of interest, over wanting to, throw pitchforks at Twitch, that person actually was misinformed. They thought they had deleted everything. They didn't. There was still content there. So it is confusing largely because there are these conflicting stories that go back and forth, and some people are just speaking from a position of misinformation, and they're not doing it like knowingly sometimes. So
Condi, I just read something interesting just on your point, how you were talking about the difference between a strike and a claim.
Yeah.
So a copyright strike is that you are using the same content as others. So I imagine that being like compilations, you showing a video that you don't own, things like that. A copyright claim is someone taking the content that you've created and then monetizing it for themselves.
Yeah.
One is directly influenced by the law. One isn't. One's a YouTube policy. So
Right.
the copyright claim is law. The strike is YouTube policy.
So, okay, that's interesting. Because I'm trying to think. Because I mean, in my mind, if I upload a video and I use a top 50 song in the background of that video, am I gonna get claimed or am I gonna get a strike?
A strike because you've taken someone's content and used it for yourself.
So in previous videos where I have had audio that wasn't copyright safe, right? For example, like we uploaded a video where we watched TikToks, right? Original idea. And there's music in the background of those TikToks. I got claimed on that video.
Yep.
But I didn't get striked.
So the creator of that like unique piece of content is basically saying, this is our content, you've just re-uploaded it, we're gonna monetize this.
Yeah.
So that's how that seems to work.
Okay, I guess it's still it's unclear for me, and I always wonder because obviously I don't mind getting a claim if I think the content's good and I still want to upload it, but I definitely don't want to get a strike. So it's hard to kind of know what the difference is. But we'll see.
Strike seems to be YouTube's policy on if you just, let's say you rip a movie and you upload it, YouTube will strike it because that is copyrighted content. Whereas it seems like if you add something to it, like let's say you do a compilation like we literally just recorded, and one of the people's videos that we used claims that for themselves.
Yeah.
Like you've just taken my content, re-uploaded it. I want to like monetize this
Yeah.
content. That's how it seems to transpire. But I think one of the important notes to take is one is law, one is policy. It's the exact same as the DMCA law that we're going through on Twitch. Twitch, the only like when Twitch DMCA strikes us, that isn't based on the law. That's their policy to strike us. So as far as I'm aware, you can get as many strikes as you want. But if somebody DMCA strikes you, they can take you to law. Take you to court.
Yeah.
Like it's very muddled. Like I think the YouTube way that they've explained it here is a lot simpler.
Well, I guess that YouTube probably don't have as much issue with DMCA because they know that they have a good content ID system, and most of it gets
they used to.
Well, and part of it too, as Scott pointed out, is that by allowing a claimant to make a claim on your YouTube video, you effectively the way that washes clean for YouTube is that claimant drops a notice on you, Condi, and then that claimant will now make money off of your content.
Yeah.
And so for the claimant's point of view, they're like, cool, I'm getting money off of work that somebody else did that used my work, ergo it's mine, therefore I'm fine. You know what I mean? Like, but Twitch doesn't have, there's no transitive property there yet so that if a claimant comes through, like again, exactly as you pointed out, what would Twitch claw back from a stream in terms of remuneration?
Exactly. Yeah.
And because VODs are watched on occasion, but I mean, let's be honest, the vast majority, of people are there for the live stream. So they're not gonna be making, they can't look to views on video on demand as a means to generate a metric for taking money in
Yeah.
exchange for content used. Um, and also, God, I mean, can you imagine like in a video that is maybe, let's say, 4 to 10 minutes long on YouTube, there could be 2 songs, 5 songs, snippets of each on a fucking 7-hour stream. Can you imagine how many claimants could lay claim to the content on a stream if you just were playing top
Exactly.
100, Spotify?
Yeah.
Like you basically would make nothing off of Twitch, and that's what would be happening and is happening to some people on YouTube right now, because if they're not going through the rigor of finding copyright free content and they're just using stuff that can be claimed, then those people are knowingly working hard to edit, cut, and create videos to make content and push it publicly onto that platform, knowing that they won't see money from it.
Well,
And so
see,
for folks like us,
YouTube's far from perfect too, because like I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking you have a 10-minute video, someone takes like say you put a music that was this music that you're using is not copyright free, right? So say, I'm just using music as an example just because, but they have so you use somebody's music, just a clip of it. Say at a total 10-minute video, it is 1/60th of the total content that you created. Someone puts a claim on there, they're not getting paid 1/60th of what you make from the YouTube. They
Yeah.
take the money you make from that YouTube, whether it's 1/60th of the entire video or all of it. So I mean, it's like YouTube. It's frustrating on that side of YouTube if you're like a bigger content creator where you're actually getting income and stuff from that, because like you put a video and it's has this small little clip that someone's claiming it, and then they take the money from the entire video. It's like,
Yeah. And the thing
but
is, it's
it keeps YouTube safe.
well, that's it. It's on both hands that yes, YouTube's very strict, but that keeps them under safe harbor and it allows the platform to keep operating. Whereas the other hand is that, well, I mean, I don't know, Kibbles might have experienced this as well, but sometimes when I get a claim on a video, it will come up saying, "What would you like to do?" There's two options. You can appeal it, or what's the word? It's not appeal. It's
Contest. maybe?
contest, something like that, right?
or dispute.
Dispute. You can
Yeah.
dispute the claim, or you can just, YouTube has a built-in editor where you can just cut that part of the video, and it
Mhm.
will say, "Hey,
y-
here's the exact timestamps of when the claim is. Do you want to just cut it?" And if
Except,
well, sorry, go on.
unfortunately, it only works like half the time because I've done that before where it's like, okay, I'll mute the section that you're saying because it'll automatically mute it for you.
Right.
Then I'll go back through and check. So yeah, it's muted now, but the claim's still there and it's still blocked.
Right.
like,
I've
oh,
never
cool,
done
thanks,
that.
guys.
I've never done that, so I was
I've
wondering.
had to before like mute it myself because I got something back from an editor once and I was like, oh shit, you shouldn't have put that song in there. Uh-oh. And it didn't work on YouTube's thing, so I had to like do it myself, mute it, re-upload it, and then it was good. But
Right.
they didn't recognize that their own stuff.
Their own software didn't do it. Yeah. Okay.
So one thing that's been like going around in my mind constantly, I'm gonna discuss a narrative and
nuts.
it keeps me awake at night, honestly. Stick with me, right? But like I want like all of your perspective on this. When we are creating content on Twitch, right? It doesn't matter how many viewers you have on that content, right? We do not make any money from the amount of viewership that we have, right? The only thing that directly impacts the amount of viewership that we have is ad revenue, right?
Yeah.
Which the ad revenue is not based on the content that we are creating, purely and simply just the amount of viewers that actually watch the ads at the time. And the only other three main ways that we can make money through Twitch, correct me if I'm wrong, is ads, bits, and subs, right?
Yeah.
Which all three of those technically doesn't directly impact the content that we have. You can get subs offline, you can get bits offline, you can get well, you can't get ad revenue, right? So the thing that keeps playing in my mind is the content that we're actually creating, right, doesn't have a monetary value based on it, right? So if you look at YouTube, if you've got, let's say, 10 million views, it's my understanding that you get paid
Per
dependent on the
view.
amount of views that you get, right? On Twitch, the only way that you can actually make money, like specifically Twitch, is ad revenue, hits, and subs. So I find it hard that people from these industries can actually say, well, you're making money from you playing my music. I'm gonna DMCA you. Like, technically, the only thing that is that, like, the videos and the music is only bringing value to the content, but technically you're not getting paid for that content.
It's true, but I mean, I don't even necessarily think it's got anything to do with making money in that sense. It's just that you're rebroadcasting something. Because I mean, I think if you weren't affiliated and you're making no money on Twitch, you could probably still get DMCA just as easily, right?
Well,
Yeah.
okay. So if you look at, let's say, a huge figure, let's say, I don't know, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, right? Joins Twitch, right? Isn't partnered, isn't affiliated, right? But he has, let's say, 1 million viewers, and he plays something that's copyrighted, but he's not making any money from it, right? The music industry still has the ability to basically issue him with a DMCA, even though he's not making any money on it.
Yep.
Right? You are correct in what you're saying. He is
Yeah.
rebroadcasting it, right? Which I 100% get, but it's almost like I find it hard that they are saying that they're losing money, because I understand how Spotify works. You know, they get paid per listen. It's like what, 0.003% of a cent, all that kind of shit. But no one's really discussed it this way, and it's been bothering me for absolutely ages. It's like, we're not making money from our content on Twitch, the same as YouTube. YouTube, obviously, depending on how many views you get paid.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
the
but I
problem
think-
with DMCA law in the first place, is that the law itself
It
is outdated, right? That's kind of the whole issue.
I'm
Anyway,
just looking for this discussion, this back and forth, because I might be wrong, but that's the kind of thing that
So I think you raise an interesting topic, but I think that it's also difficult to split hair. I'm not saying you're splitting hairs. I'm saying that in terms of coming to a consensus over
How
what
dare
the
you?
what the right or wrong is of how it should be metered out, like how justice should be met out in that situation, it is down to splitting hairs of one could argue that the bits and the subs come through because people are paying you or trying to reward or tip the creator or the person driving that channel because of their personality and what they offer as an individual.
Yeah.
You could make that argument. However, I think it's really hard to say, because unless you're doing something that's like, not using any sort of external um uh trademark or product line or um like any sort of creative source outside of your own making, like, because if you're streaming and you're doing just chatting and it's just you in your room, and they're not playing music, easy. Like, obviously you could make that claim, no problem. People are tipping and subbing and donoing to that person because they like that person. But if you have someone who, like, let's look at someone who is in a competitive first person shooter directory, and they have maybe almost zero chat engagement, but they're maybe on a professional esports team, and they're highly notable and they're highly skilled for what they do. Like, what is that person really giving as original content if they're not engaging their audience at all? They're simply not even looking at the camera, but they're looking at their screen, they're playing a game, they're communicating with their teammates, and that's it. If they're playing Kanye West in the background and all they're playing is Call of Duty, like, a chunk, like what they're then giving as their body of content is their gameplay, but like still the gameplay can't exist without the lens of the game itself. So if you don't have the game, gameplay doesn't exist. And so you need the game to make the stream at that point. And then the game companies realize and have not been, pursuing streaming because again, they know it's free advertising. They know that this is good for the industry. They realize the value here, right? Because at the surface level, like when you go into a directory, it's a directory for a specific game. If you know of a specific creator that is famous for being really good at, like, say, Valorant or Fortnite or whatever, like they are attached to that game. That game's name keeps getting bandied about. The thing that isn't going to happen is that, let's say, for that 7 hours that you're watching a streamer play Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty. That's the thing that's getting stuck in people's heads. That's why the game developers are fine with us streaming this stuff. You know what people aren't going to be remembering? That banging track that didn't have, if you don't have an overlay highlighting like what you're playing when you're playing it, and there's no way, and you don't have any commands or anything built in, which again, all of this would be purely optional. Like, people hear music, they may not know who that artist is. That artist is not getting recognition, and if the artist is like not getting any recognition, but their material is being used, the argument I think then would be made that you're folding their work into content that you are then making a claim as being yours. Like it's like the two arguments almost nullify each other. Like, you can't say I'm owed these bits and subs because people are trying to support me, because you have inadvertently folded someone else's content into your own as part of the total package. I think that would be the counter argument.
You just kind of like ate from the palm of my hand there, because that's exactly where I wanted you to go with it.
Oh, I know, but yeah, exactly.
So I just want to kind of wrap this topic up a little bit. The last topic we had, I say we maybe save for next week, just for time's sake.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to say and just briefly bring up was, obviously we know Twitch is having a hard time with this, and the way they're dealing with it might not be the best. I don't know what the answer is. I certainly couldn't do any better if it was me, but they're not making it easy on themselves. After the blog post, there was a lot of responses on Twitter, and somebody just genuinely asked the question, like, where do we stand on in-game music, right? Because in-game music, as we know, some games, Just Dance or, Guitar Hero, GTA, these games have a lot of music that was licensed to be in that game, but is not licensed to be played on a live stream. So ergo, you can be DMCA'd for that stuff, right? So people asked, where do we stand on this? Because, well, Cyberpunk is coming out, one of the, if not the biggest game of the year. And I have to assume there's going to be music in that game. Well, yeah. I have to assume there's going to be music in that game. It seems like the sort of, very immersive open world. Yes, I know it's futuristic and all that, but there could be music in it, right? And how do we know if music in game is going to get us DMCA'd or not? Which is a valid question, right? It's something I can understand as well. As I say, a couple weeks ago, I played Little Hope, which was just a story game, one stream, one and done kind of thing. But there was music in there, and I didn't know at the time, am I safe to watch this? I have no idea. So I just deleted the VOD as soon as it was done, just to be safe. But something like Cyberpunk, it's going to be a big game. There's going to be a lot of people playing it. Are we all going to get hit? And Twitch responded with not the best response ever, but admittedly it's difficult. They responded saying, check each game to see if they can, they explain what the licensing is for any music. If there's an option in game to turn off the music, do that, which some games do have. Or they said, worst case scenario, just mute your game audio, right? Which is, it's technically right, but it's not a very helpful thing to say. And I did see a lot of people kind of memeing on it. Jambo, if you're aware of Jambo.
Oh, I was just about to bring this up.
Tweeted saying she was going to play Skyrim.
Gold.
Just muted, just using her mouth to make all the noises for everything in game.
Did you see it?
I didn't see the stream, no. I saw her tweets.
So she did it, right? She put in the top left-hand corner, this is a DMCA friendly stream. and she literally did every single fucking sound effect with her mouth. I have never seen content like it. It was the right correct like amount of sarcasm and just pure humor. Like she wasn't taking a dig at Twitch while she was streaming. It was just funny.
Yeah.
She revolutionizes the way that she streams.
I thought it was very entertaining, and it's a good response to what was obviously just not the best thought out tweet.
No.
Again, technically they are right, but that doesn't help anybody, you know. Who would watch? I mean, realistically, who's going to watch a stream where you can't really have music playing unless you're confident it's all DMCA safe, and you've muted your game audio just because you're worried that it might be DMCA? Like, you're probably having a good time, you can hear it, you're playing along, but nobody in your stream, it's just silence and then like just breathing and like it's just horrible, right? So I think Twitch kind of, maybe I'm imagined this, but I think they did kind of quote tweet this and say like, we know this wasn't the best, like we're working on it. And I think you mentioned earlier they're going to be doing like an FAQ and stuff like that soon.
But
so,
I think no matter whichever like way the coin flips, having this conversation now can only breed the conversation in the future with game developers, either banding with certain like record labels and saying like, we are gonna make specific content for this game, whether it be by Ariana Grande or like Jay-Z or whoever, right? We're gonna make original content for this game, which it happens day in and day out with game developers. Just sometimes it's not huge top 50 names. And think of the market that could potentially open up for that. And then it could be built within the game license to say you will not get DMCA'd for this because we own the rights to that music.
So, as Cyber just pointed out, one of the things that Twitch did mention that people should be doing is, if you're not sure and you really feel uncertain about it and you just don't want to be that person taking the first step into those waters unknown when Cyberpunk drops or something like it, check the end user license agreement. They need to state, the company needs to state, the game manufacturer needs to state the terms of how their content can be used. And nowadays, because streaming has been so prevalent for the past decade, that often in the end user license agreement, you can find very specific terms telling you what you can and can't stream. And to give you a very specific example and to keep it brief, Final Fantasy 14, apparently this whole dust up with DMCA recently got people talking about it. And I know that, you know, some people in our circles play Final Fantasy 14. There was people looked at the end user license agreement and apparently I think there's only like 4 tracks, which technically are not like vetted or greenlit to be streamed. And right now, if those tracks come up, the dev, one of the devs reported on Twitter that they're like looking into it and seeing what they can do about it. But he said for now, try to mute them if they come up. And basically that means that if you're in the middle of a raid or an encounter and that song appears, you should be muting the audio, because as per the agreement that they set up with the rights holder to the song when they folded it into their game, that's kind of where they landed. If you're not sure, just check. I mean, it might even just be down to certain tracks. It might not even be the entire album. And in the case of a lot of games, if it's in a completely original score, like you look at companies like Destiny, where they score all of their own music, then, you know, they might even just, the whole thing might be fine.
well then, but that brings up the guy who did get a strike for music in Destiny.
Yeah, well, yes, but that was from the Lost Sector.
Yeah, so one specific area and on one specific planet, that game has specific music, and he got struck. So even though it's all original
they
music,
didn't score it.
Yeah,
it wasn't a OST.
Yeah.
Yep.
He got a strike for that. So that's why it's like there's always that gray area of like, you know, what sound and what part of this game is going to get you hit with a strike. It's scary. So it's an interesting one, but yeah, definitely read the EULA and do your research. It's that's the world we live in now.
That's the main thing. Do your research. Don't listen to the herd mentality of it will be okay. Nick Max is we discussed this. Nick Max is the perfect example. He said, "Fuck it, I'm fine. Don't worry about it." He got a DMCA strike within a week. So do your research, make a conscious decision for yourself, right? And then if anyone's to blame, it's yourself. You know, it won't be Twitch, it won't be anybody. It'll just be your lack of understanding,
Yeah.
right? But if you do the correct research, right, which it isn't hard to find, the internet's been around since what, 91? You know, we have a vast knowledge of laws that are documented and explained, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on text format, whether it be a podcast like this. Do your fucking research. Don't leave yourself open to having years of content go to waste because you get banned.
Billy, how much did you pay for that umbrella? Because you just put out so much shade right now.
I'm getting ticked off with people on Twitter, and it's got to the point where I have to ask you guys: do I go in this, or do I just stay happy for the rest of the day?
Yeah, it's not even worth arguing with people on Twitter now. It is frustrating though to see people in positions of authority or influence, and by that we're talking content creators that are misinformed and just just repeat this stuff, and then it's like it becomes that's how these rumors and these ideas like get cemented into place, and people just aren't doing the basics in terms of looking into the law as written and or what the companies are even doing. They just
Yep.
go on speculation alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for something that's so convoluted as DMCA. Like, do you really expect your average content creator to be like well informed about all this stuff? They should be, but I mean, I don't know. I don't view some random dude streaming or whatever. I'm like, yeah, this guy understands the very intricacies that are involved with DMCA law. You know what I mean? Like,
Excuse
that's
you,
not
right?
my
He knows
that's
the
not
guy
my
at
thought.
Twitch,
But Humps,
right?
But
he
says
knows
something,
somebody
and
at
people
Twitch.
are like,
He's
yeah,
so
this guy knows what he's
successful.
talking
He was in a
about, man.
different
This guy's it."
classroom. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. I mean, I do honestly. I know we joke about DMCA being our main topic, but I find it fascinating, and I want to keep talking about it because it's evolving every week.
Me,
Um,
that's my
is.
favorite topic.
it really is interesting, and like I say, I know it's crazy, but I can honestly see us being right now on a path that leads to Twitch just disappearing. I know that sounds like, you know, the worst case scenario, and it probably is, but it's not impossible. It really isn't. I mean, even yeah, just to, you know, scare people more. Like, if this just becomes too much hassle, I can see Amazon just saying like, shut it down. Like, we don't need this
Fuck this
hassle anymore.
shit.
It makes no difference to Amazon. I mean, let's face it,
Oh,
Twitch is
yeah.
like such a small percentage of what they do, you know, and yeah, they might sell it on to someone else or just shut it down. Amazon don't care. And
Well,
and
just to kind of broaden out your analogy, right? Who here uses Microsoft OS? Like, who uses Windows?
yeah, me.
Microsoft owned Mixer. Mixer shut down without even telling the staff. It can happen. Condi's 100% right. Nothing is forever. Just take that into consideration, please.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if Condi's
Just save
conspiracy
the last
theory,
bullet for yourself.
yep, actually does come to
This
fruition.
podcast is going to end up on YouTube, live on YouTube.
Which it already does. So subscribe to the YouTube.
Yeah. Just as a side note as well, so Tito here in chat, me and him have been discussing this a lot because he's a music streamer, and he's really in just the worst position
How
as
dare you,
a lot
Tito.
of music streamers are right now. You know, it's borderline impossible right now as a music streamer, unless you're just creating original music every single day, and it's very, very difficult. So I really hope, yeah. But like, you know, if that's your content, you just go on stream and you make music. I mean, I like to watch people like that. There's a streamer I used to watch all the time that just he had a few instruments and he just played game soundtracks or popular songs in his own style, and it was super entertaining to watch. But it's like he's in this. All these musician streamers are really struggling right now.
Yep.
You know,
There's another drummer streamer, Sunfire TV, and like a lot of her streams are rooted in, you know, people give like song requests and she would then play the backing beat to it while like a video or something of it played. And one of her attempts to kind of work around it was to like play them at 1.5 times speed. And she's good. She can hit 200 beats per minute like on like double bass. Like she's really fucking fast. So she liked the challenge, but one of the things that I noticed her say on Twitch was that, oh, you're playing with a charity event with her. Cool. That's awesome. One of the things that she complained about, and I totally get this, is she said she just doesn't feel emotionally connected to the like to playing songs that she doesn't hold near and dear, and often that's going to be popular music. So, like if there's a song you absolutely think is a banger and you want to play that and you want to just like improvise and work on top of that, that's got to be a phenomenal feeling. But when you're now just playing like some random playing along with or over top of some random music that you don't have a kinship to, it doesn't spark joy. You know what I mean? Like that's got to be hard when like so much of what you're doing is of a performative nature, and you could be technically proficient, but like you just, I mean, like there is a lot of stress on the creator to bring that joy and exude that energy for the viewers. And if you can't really tap into that, that's got to be hard.
Yeah, it's a tough position, and I hope Twitch does something to because again, I think for all of us, as we've sort of stated, if you have you do your due diligence. I can't say that. Oh my God. If you prepare and do your homework and you're smart about it and you're using other platforms like DMCA safe music and things like that, as a streamer that's content is maybe more based around chatting and games and that sort of thing, I think you can get by. I mean, I've not had a strike this last 6 months because I deleted everything and I made sure my content was all appropriate and safe, and I've not had any troubles. Yeah, touch wood. Right. But if your content is music, I mean, it's really difficult. What do you do? It's really tough. So I don't know what Twitch is going to do. I honestly have no idea what they do, but I hope they do something. Anyway, we have rattled on more than long enough. We should wrap it up. I just want to quickly say before we do wrap it up, we have some new nice artwork on stream today. We hope you enjoyed it. I think it looked far more professional. We're getting there. Only took 35 episodes. And we just recently, this week, did episode 2 of our off-topic podcasts. So these aren't weekly podcasts, but they're kind of, at the moment, every couple weeks. We're going to just try and throw them in here and there. They're not related to DMCA and Twitch. So they're just
like getting drunk and shit.
Yeah, they're just kind of a bit more freeform and entertainment-based podcasts.
Boozy's a good way.
Boozy, yeah. So the new one, I think, really was something else. We put a lot of
Boozy
time.
and bougie.
We put a lot of time into preparing it. So that will be up on YouTube soonish. So make sure you subscribe if you missed the live stream so you can catch that, because I really do think it was some of the best content we've done, quite honestly. So Cyber, where can everyone find you and what have you got going on this week?
You can find me on all major platforms, like I say this every week. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. I am going to be putting out a YouTube video this week. I am very happy with it. I'll probably get the old depression and not post it because that's what I do. But it's Mary's birthday this week, so I am going to be kind of tied up. She is sitting behind me with her headphones on and she has no idea what's going to be happening. But I'm going to try and stream probably during the day on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, because I have all 3 days off because
Nice.
I hate my job and I have holidays to take.
Awesome. Grog, what about yourself?
I'm really looking forward to this week doing more Black Ops Cold War. I'm going to play the campaign. I'm going to start it on Monday. I think this, even though I have some reservations about the multiplayer as a whole, I think it's going to be cool because apparently they have like a non-linear format for how like the game can be played through. Apparently there's like side stories that you can kind of do, which is, I think, to me seems like unique as a first-person shooter, where you can do these side missions, and whether or not you choose to do them influences how hard or difficult some of your later campaign sections are. And they also can lead you through different endings. I don't know how many different endings there are to the game, but there's at least more than 3. And apparently you can either play them from the aspect of being like sort of morally just, or you could be completely immoral and kind of ruthless in your gameplay.
Yeah.
And apparently the end story, if you approach the game with like the most like chaotic evil perspective possible, the ending is supposed to be pretty horrific. I don't know what the ending is, but I've heard like that it is pretty raw. So I think what I'm going to do is play through how I want to play, and then maybe do like a goody two shoes playthrough, and then do like a sort of like chaotic evil playthrough.
Yes.
But that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. So I'll mess with that this week. And yeah, still more Warzone and stuff like that. And, just kind of biding time until Cyberpunk comes out. You can find me on Twitch at just_grog, on other platforms at gamer_grog. And I stream 5 days a week. And on Saturdays, hopefully next Saturday, we'll be back again. I stream a variety stream with my wife. We'll be doing some horror exploration games. My wife.
Awesome. Humps, what about yourself?
You can find me on the socials, Sir Humps, @_ on Twitter. Everything else is the same. I don't know when I'm gonna be. I start night shift all next week. I do 7 nights in a row, so that makes that particular
Ew.
week hard to stream on. I might stream tomorrow, maybe. I'll probably
Destiny?
stream tomorrow.
I'll be on tomorrow. You want to do some Destiny?
Okay, yeah. Well, all right. I'll stream tomorrow on Destiny. I'll be with Condi.
Yay.
And then I probably won't stream all week because I used to do that, but god damn, dude, it just gets so hard now, man. Like getting older and doing these 12.5-hour night shifts, like I come home, I'm like, I ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to bed, and when I'll wake up when it's time to go back to work. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. But anyway, I'll probably stream tomorrow, and then I'll be back again for next week or whatever.
Awesome. Cool. And Kibbles.
Yeah, so the Mighty Kibbles on everything except for Twitter. It's a DA Mighty Kibbles. And I was gonna
A
put out a video on
DMCA
Tuesday, but I
Kibbles?
haven't. I know, not yet. I didn't edit the video yet, so the video will come out next Tuesday. It's gonna be that burial one we were talking about. But I stream on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and now Saturday mornings, as long as work doesn't get me. And yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Can't
What
wait.
are you up to?
What
Con?
about your thought? Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, so many people want to know. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to be doing more Destiny. I am now. I originally didn't think I was going to be trying to go for a day one raid clear, but I've somehow managed to find myself in
Yeah,
with a
he
team.
figured out that I have work on raid day, so he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll take the time off now."
No, dude, it's not that.
He's
I
got it.
didn't.
We'll just say Connie has a history of f***ing me on things like that when it involves raid days and stuff. So whatever. Carry
he
on.
loves
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
everybody.
Well, I didn't realize that the raid drops on a Saturday evening, and
Yes, you did.
I didn't know that. I just knew I had this week off work and then I'm back to work tomorrow. So I was like, I won't have time. But as it happens, the raid drops on Saturday. I'm off work on Sundays, so I can actually go for it. So I'm going to be trying to do that. So I'm going to be spending the week just leveling up and getting ready for the raid. I will try my best to make it here for the podcast.
You better fucking.
I might not sleep Saturday night, but I'll be here.
so
I will be here.
Yeah,
I might
wait
need
after, like,
someone
4
else to
hours.
actually run it, but I'll be here. Okay. So that'll be fine. Yeah, it's just gonna be more Destiny. I have a video which actually should be live already. Just came out. So that's fun. I haven't uploaded in a while. Hopefully this one doesn't get a strike like the last one did.
Connie, if I was really cold and I was looking for like something to like feel really cozy and comfortable in,
awkward
is there
'cause I'm
anything
not-
that I could do to?
I'm not wearing it. Yeah, we actually released our first ever merch this week. So modeled here by Humps and Cyber. Yeah, we did our first ever merch drop, which is crazy and not something I thought I would ever kind of get to the point of doing. But I'm super happy with it. It came out. Cyber actually helped me with it a ton. So that's been cool. People have been saying nice things. So honestly, that's just super dope, and I'm excited about it.
So Conte done his usual and went, I need to make some merch. There you go,
Cyber,
Billy. There's everything.
help me.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, well, because I can't, I don't do art and stuff. So, but hey, I appreciate you, and you did a great job, and I'm super happy with it. People have been super nice. The weird thing was so it's all done through Stream Elements, and the reason I kind of went Stream Elements, first of all, like I like the quality of it. I like the way it was all integrated with the stream, but it has a thing so you can have separate alerts for whenever somebody purchases a piece of merch, right? But the alerts are so delayed, and I'm talking like over an hour.
Oh, shit.
I had someone come into my stream and go, "Hey, Condi, I just bought a shirt. That's fucking awesome." And I was like, "Oh, thank you so much, dude. Weird. There was no alert, but like that's fine. No worries." And then literally over an hour later, it popped up on the screen saying that this username had just bought a shirt. And I was like, well, I don't know what's causing that delay, but that's interesting.
Apparently, it's got something to do with the API. It's only when the payments went through.
Right. Okay.
So they need to fix that, and they have like done a blog post about it, but it's super frustrating.
Well, it's just a little extra thing, I suppose, the alert on the screen, but you know, either way, it's fine. But yeah, no, it's been super cool. Thank you very much to everyone who has decided to do that. More importantly, yeah, the podcast has been great recently. I've been having such a good time speaking just myself personally. The stuff we've been doing, especially the off-topic episodes, have been so much fun. And thank you guys for listening, watching, because we wouldn't be doing it if you guys weren't here to support. So we really do appreciate it. If you want to find more of the podcast specifically, we have a Twitter at Zero Strategy Pod. If you're listening on one of the audio platforms, we do stream it live on Twitch every Sunday, and then the off-topic episodes as and when. Twitch.tv/Zero Strategy Podcast. And if you're watching on a live stream, we upload all of these to YouTube and Spotify as well. So if you have missed an episode or you want to catch up, feel free to go and check those out. We are going to raid a streamer here. So if you are watching live, please stick around, go and check out this streamer, and we'll go and show them some love. We will see you guys, I think, just next week. I don't think we have an off-topic plan, so it'll be next week. I'll be here. I'll be tired, but I'll be here. Yeah, I think that's us. Thank you so much for having us, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you next time.
Bye. Bye.